So let's go to the dominant portion of the offense. And of course, that was the running game. Blake Corum providing the explosion. Hassan Haskins still wearing down the defense as well. Seems to be something that we've talked about during the offseason, but then saw a glimpse of in week one, and then against a better opponent in week two seemed to be that perfect combination.
Yeah, I mean, they came out and said, early, even before the season, running the ball is going to be their identity. And I didn't think it would be this much of their identity, but they stuck to that. And so they said it again this week prior to the Washington game as well. Hey, we're going to run the ball. That's going to be our game plan. And they did it. And, I wish that they would have opened it up a little bit, but from what Jim Harbaugh and Josh Gaddis said was, we're going to run the ball until Washington stops us. Well, Washington did not stop them, and they did not stop running the ball. And so I get it. People are going to be a little bit annoyed that they didn't open it up. But Jim stuck to the game plan, and they said, you know what, why do anything different if this is going to keep working? And so, Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum, 48 rushes between the two of them for quite a bit of yardage. Second straight week with over 300 yards rushing for Michigan. I'd say that's an identity, Mark.
Yeah, every team wants an identity, especially on offense. And whether it's to the critics' liking, this would be the identity. Now, I think that the run-pass ratio in regards to both plays run and the yardage gained would be a bit extreme and needs to come back into something closer to a bit of a balance against the better opponents. But that is identity of Michigan football as it stands right now through two games. At the same time, you had mentioned, and we talked about it before we started to record, the thought process that this game was, and you've got the same look at it as I did, that the game was well in hand from a feel standpoint, but from just the pure scoreboard standpoint, it was still a possible loss by only 2 scores in the driver's seat through much of the game. So you couldn't just throw caution to the wind and do whatever and experiment. But at the same time, that there were opportunities once that the game was put in hand. Let's work on the passing game going forward.
Well, and you know what, I think that good teams can do this, right? Good teams can run this type of a game plan and execute throughout the whole game and keep it in, the game was in Michigan's hands the entire time, and they didn't let that slip away. What I think that differentiates a good team from a great team is you do that in the first half, and then you're feeling okay at halftime, and then in the third quarter, you take some shots to break it wide open. Right. And so that's what I was hoping to see from this team, where they ground and pound, they set they set it what they were going to do all day. But then you draw up those play action passes after running it 6 times in a row. And then all of a sudden, AJ Henning is down the sideline deep for a 70-yard pass. And so that's what we've seen out of an Ohio State over the past 10 years. Right. They are the first half is, okay, they'll go in with a touchdown or field goal lead. All of a sudden you blink in the third quarter and they're up 24. That's what I think we need to see Michigan do a little bit better of. Jim Harbaugh, it felt like a 2014-15 game where they were going to take 9-minute drives. They were going to control the game, not make any mistakes, and really let that defense provide the spark for this team, and then make it, ground and pound and work on the offensive side of the ball. That's the odd thing, I think, because after week one, what did I say to you after week one? Holy smokes, they did the big plays. They took deep shots. It was that type of game plan, and it was super creative. They opened up things. They went completely away from that. Now, is that going to be just a one-game type of game plan, or is Jim Harbaugh trying to do some of that for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so you got a homework assignment out there. Justin did his best digging and did not find anybody in the country that passed for less yards than Michigan. You automatically go to Army, you go to the military academies, not even there.
I just pulled up Army stats again. They threw the ball 4 times and still passed for 98 yards. So Michigan throwing the ball for 15 times. I thought Cade McNamara, he didn't look as comfortable as he did in week 1. But I know that they weren't trying to have that as a big piece of the game, but he still just didn't look like the same guy. And so 7 for 15 for 44 yards. Man, that is a pretty crazy stat line when you think about they scored 31 points and won by 3 scores.